Hey guys, Marvin here, back with another pro demo review video. As you can see, Blast Premier full group starting soon, starting tonight in fact. The player break, is over. Lots of teams with new rosters went through a bit of a roster mania off season, player break. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see how these new rosters go. So tonight we've got Vitality, who picked up Spinks, versus OG, who have also got new players in Dexter and Neofrag and Fiku. NIP and Astralis staying the same, in fact, but um, NIP with Brolin still relatively new, and Astralis. It's kind of interesting that they didn't make any changes. There was rumors about Device potentially returning to Astralis, which didn't eventuate. So sticking with Fire League, they made top four at IEM Cologne, and that was the last major tournament of last season, where FaZe won against NAVI in a very very like all-time great best of five final, probably one of the best that I've ever seen that I can remember. It was such a great match, and to round off that rivalry between Navi and FaZe, FaZe winning the major against Navi, Navi winning the Stockholm major. So the two informed, genuine number one contending teams for the season against each other in the final tournament of the season, which happened to be Cologne, which FaZe win. And yeah, a really great final, and that's what we're going to look at today for today's video. We're going to look at one of those maps in the best of five final. We're going to look at Twistzz. And for today's video, I wanted to tackle a question that I see it comes up a lot when talking about players. We talk about good aimers, right? So Twistzz is always talked about as a good aimer, but sometimes when you talk a little deeper with someone and they say, like, what do you mean by good aimer? And not a lot of people can define what they actually mean. So for this video, yeah, I want to discuss what makes good aim. So I'm going to look at Twistzz, and I'm going to talk about what I believe um, when I'm going to, like, my beliefs about aim and what I think are some of the key elements that make up aim when talking about a player in terms of their skill. So, um, yeah, let's have a quick look at the stats. So he went like not a crazy game in terms. We're just going to look at the CT side of Mirage for Twistzz, but this is a very high pressure, like like I said, one of the biggest matches of the entire Counter-Strike season of the year, all leading up to this moment, best of five final. This is map 4. Um, at this stage, Navi have a 2-1 lead. FaZe picked up Inferno, which they seem to be very hard to beat on Inferno. I'd say the best Inferno team. And then Navi pick up Overpass, and then they also pick up Ancient in overtime. If you remember this matchup went to overtime, so they went 12-3 on their CT side, and then FaZe brought it back all the way to overtime, being 12-3 down, but FaZe clutch it out with a very good performance out of Perfecto, and now into Mirage. So a must-win map for FaZe before elimination. So let's just hop into the demo because I've spoken a lot already, and it's time to get some gameplay. So we can see Twistzz starting off on the A site, and that's one thing that I definitely want to bring your attention to early on in this demo review, is that how many different CT setups FaZe have on this Mirage CT defense. It's really quite varied and quite unpredictable. And if you just keep your attention to the minimap at the start of each round, you'll notice the different kind of setups that they have, and also bring your attention to it as they change their setups quite drastically. And I think it's due to having both Rops and Rain on the such strong players on your A defense. They really lock it down on A. It allows a lot of variation, and Rops is a very good mid-con player. If you remember when Carrigan joined Mouse, he moved into con. Twistzz was also a con player on Liquid, so you got very strong mid players. So now Twistzz is playing short, and we're going to look at his aim. So that's what I want to talk about today's video. What makes a good aim? Here's one mid. He's going up con now. Just Deagle, forced by second round. Now 1v4. No luck for Twistzz there. Just buys another Deagle. Really could do with one of these eco wins, because you know when you're down 2-1 in maps and you're on the preferred side for Mirage, CT sided map, you want to get off to a good start. You don't want to be going down on your CT side, because having to come back on the T side of Mirage is going to be very, very difficult, and it's just something you'd rather try to avoid, really. You just rather get it done on the CT side and only close it out on T side. And yeah, nothing you can do about that. Bit bouncing around the corner. Mac 10 jumping headshot. So now we've got Rops jumping mid. Twistzz top mid behind the boxes. And now we're going to look at this little lamppost thing. You can see the light that he's staring at. It's like a lamp that's in underpass. You can see if someone walks in front of it, they'll block the light even in through the smoke. So you can see someone cross the smoke. First kill. Headshot. And the reason I think Twistzz is always talked about as having good aim is he's always up there in those headshot percentage in tournaments. The headshot percentage stat, percentage of your kills being a headshot. Twistzz is always very high in that. Like Bit is another one that's high headshot. Who else? Twistzz on Heroic is another one that comes to mind. You know, you've got your other one, you got your, your obvious ones like Simple, Zywoo. They're all going to be high in those categories. And those are all, as you notice, those are all considered to be good aimers. And so if we pay attention to Twistz's crosshair, that's one of the key, and the first key element that I consider when I'm talking about aim is crosshair placement. And and having your crosshairs always being head height and hitting just your first bullet headshots. Just being set for the fight, anticipating the fight before it comes to you. So you have your crosshair ready, and then your first bullet that you fire hits the head, you win the fight with a headshot. And that's the fastest way to kill, and therefore you get a lot of kills and you have a high headshot percentage because your crosshair was already in the right place most of the time. And with a lot of these skills, there's a lot of contributing factors. So just having the mouse, just having the mouse in the right spot, being able to anticipate where the fights are coming from. Sometimes you're in a scenario where you got to catch a timing, or you got to hold a certain maybe two spots, and you got to look at both on a certain timing maybe, or you got to predict which side is going to peak first. If you're holding your positioning also affects your crosshair placement. Lots of things can affect good crosshair placement, but it's definitely something that you can notice in the game when you're just watching. You're watching how Twistzz is always on the corner at head height. If you compare to some other players like Nico, as you can hear these one running up. This is to bit. If you look on the 96 damage to bit, unlucky. But yeah, let's just try and pay attention to Twistzz crosshair and what we notice about having good crosshair placement. From what I can tell, it's not a lot of wasted movements. Like see, look at that. Like just an elegant swing of the arm onto the body and the spray. So that's the next thing I would talk about when I'm talking about aim. So the second key element would be spray control. So that's after you've got your crosshair, you've shot your first bullet, it's not a headshot, you need to continue the fight. You hold down mouse 1, more bullets come out, you got to adjust for the recoil with your spray control. And Twistzz is also what I to have very good crosshair placement, which equals having a very good aim, in my opinion. And that's why I think, and I agree, that's why I think a lot of people would say how Twistzz is a very good aimer in Counter-Strike. A pure aimer, a rifler. And part of the reason why FaZe is such a strong team is they've got more than one of this type of player. So Rops is another rifler that I think has very good aim, very good crosshair placement. I don't know if he has as good of spray as Twistzz. I would probably give Twistzz the edge in that category. Just from what I see in the game, my opinion, just from what I've seen in the demos, it's very close. I'd rate them both highly. Rops is my preferred player. He's a bit more of a lurker, more of a passive player. I just kind of prefer his playstyle. He gets more frags from his playstyle. Twistzz is a bit more supportive. Sometimes on the T side he'll be first one in or second one in. But you need that type of player. That type of player is very hard to come by. Very strong rifler who's willing to run in first. And someone who meets that criteria, who I want to also watch their demo, who's also a CT Mirage cat player. I'll give you 10 seconds to guess who you think I'm talking about. Put it in the comments below. You get 10 Marvin points if you get this right. But I'm thinking of Config, who had a very good CT Mirage against NAVI, this same opponent in the semi-finals of this tournament, IEM Cologne. And it'd be interesting to watch that demo and compare it to this one and just see how they both go about playing the same opponent in the same tournament, on the same map, on the same position. Two very similar in some ways players, but also different, and just see how they compare. "3v1 here. This is a simple 1v3 attempt, and he actually gives it a very good go. So we're standing out in the open a little bit, and now it's Rain in the 1v1, and he actually, if I can say, he plays this pretty well, very disciplined. So we can just see it, simple low HP. Rain knows this because he's got at least a few builds into him, and he went for the spam attempt through the triple box, knowing that he's low, but he's playing it very patiently. 20 seconds on the clock. Simple still looking for a mistake, and it's almost like Rain knows this, and now with 8 seconds to go, he comes pushing in. Very well played. Very, very disciplined, patient. Patient is the word there. Sometimes patience wins more often actually than not, I think. A lot of players could learn from that, in my opinion. Just play the clock, play the numbers. Even though it was a 1v1, he has to plant. Now we've got Twistzz playing window, Carrigan playing short, and we've got Brokey holding apps. And we're gonna have Rops and Rain in this close A main setup. So they don't have to worry so much about the A split, playing so close to A. They're not gonna get shot on this crossfire because they're just planning on just stopping one of the pushes of the split by playing close to the ramp. But now some time's passed. Got Twistzz kind of playing the jungle player, because we're playing 2A main. And Brokey's just getting a lot of info with his AWP. Nice. One spam kill, gets the trade as well. He also spotted him cat as well. Round 10, 7-4. And playing well, really. Not doing anything more than he has to. Getting the frags you need. And again, we're going to be playing window. Rops is playing Carrigan on short. Rops con. Rops is dead to Tech 9. Look how we're pushing in here. Moving the crosshair. Always adjusting it to head height as we peeking, do damage, flick up. That was a risky play in my opinion. Only goes 1 for 1. It does get damage onto the second, but risking a lot. Because, yeah. At least he gets the 1. Almost died without getting 1. Lucky to get flick up onto the cap layer. But now we're in the 2v2. They're going to gamble B and they're going to be correct about it. Spots a head brokey. This should be a lineup. And it is. Well played in the end. So, good crosshair placement. We're always just smooth. Smooth is fast, fast is smooth. But kind of not overdoing it with the mouse inputs. Just holding it, adjusting to the head. Another double spray down. 2 headshots on the spray with the M4. It's just really good stuff, really. More, I don't know. He's in a spot where he's lucky to get 1 and he gets 2. And it just makes all the difference. I think he's worth his weight in gold in phase, in my opinion. Twistzz is. The whole team, I can't see them being not contending for a long time with this lineup. Okay, we've spotted the shoulder. I think this is simple with P250. They're on the eco this round. The rest of the hits on A. Goes back to check the underpass. Rain dive stairs or sandwich. Last player is T-Spawn. And they've really clawed back from being 3-0 down, 8-4. They just went on 7-1 run. And feeling a lot more comfortable in this grand final. Knowing that you got Nuke up next and you happen to be a pretty good Nuke team as well, so can play with a bit of confidence now. And we're going to do that jumping up cat on this railing. Got Brokey, oh no, it's Carrigan with AWP. Brokey with the other AWP on B. Bits down here. And yeah, Bit could never expect Twistzz to be in a position like that. And he gets away. Simple's top mid with the op here. Tag him up a bit running away. Oh yeah, this is Electronics 4K. NAVI actually win this round. It's actually a really nice round out of Electronics. He's already got 2. Double entry onto B. Sprays down Twistzz. 4K, all headshots. I think it was 2v5, right? Yeah, that's a really nice round out of Electronic. Interesting to see if Electronic continues to frag, because that was one key aspect with Navi playing with SDY, is that Electronic was calling. So, but he was also fragging really well. So normally there's a bit of a drop off with your in-game leader having to call. Takes away from the fragging. Just zaps a bit of your focus from your crosshair and your surroundings to the kind of in-game situation, the in-game leader situation. You're talking about moving your players a bit like a chessboard, so you're also in-game but also kind of making calls and reading the game. So it'll be interesting to see if Electronic can keep up his individual level or if it drops back a bit. Because SDY, like the team of the core of Bit, Electronic, and Simple, and then your Perfecto's your support player, is so strong that your fifth only just needs to, whatever they add, whatever they get out of SDY is just a bonus. And look at this push by Twistzz. Spots that play in underpass and just decides to walk forward. And now we're about to find the bomb in T-spawn with 30 seconds left. And it's simple. And that just creates mayhem. 20 seconds. Bombs down. And we're going to stay alive. This is a veteran play. And we just go back 15 seconds. It's round 1. 3v1. And we dink Electronic as well. Last round. Buy's not great. Simple's going with a Deagle. Tech 9 on Bit. Again, we're playing Window. Carrigan. Short. Rops. Again, we're playing B. Rain as the anchor. Yeah, they're just gelling. The setups just seem really fluid. Like they all understand each other, where they're gonna be on the map, how they can team play together. And yeah, the chemistry, the team play from an international squad, like that's the most impressive thing. You look at it in game and you think it's gonna be like Astralis or something, or some team where they've all played together for years, but it's a relatively new lineup and it's working well. Yeah, so interesting game to look at, interesting demo. Hope you guys learned a little bit. I didn't actually get to a lot of what I was supposed to talk about, but I still had fun watching that demo. And yeah, perhaps I'll make that config video as kind of a follow-up, so I can expound upon what I wrote down here in my notes, because yeah, I've got some more to say. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.